Charles Manson and 3 females of the Manson family are found guilty of murder. The U.S. and the USSR, along with other countries, sign a seabed treaty not to use nuclear warheads on the sea floor, and boxer Joe Frazier defeats Muhammad Ali in a 15-round fight, Madison Square Garden. The year is 1971, and this car-based truck, Ford Ranchero, could be had down at your local Ford dealer. But before getting into all of it, I'm your host, Jay. Welcome to What It's Like, the automotive channel that shows you these cars like you've never saw them before. History, specs, design. If you're into consuming mini documentaries of your favorite lost and forgotten cars, which may spark memories, I love it when people share the memories of these cars in their lives. If any of that sounds of interest to you, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. A couple of announcements real quick. Before getting into the meat and potatoes, I would love to do a podcast segment called Part of the Conversation next year. Anyone in the automotive sector who would love to sit down and just talk cars, anyone watching live can ask questions, hence Part of the Conversation. If you're interested in being a guest on Part of the Conversation, reach out to me at @yahoo.com. Also, people have been asking me what I would love for Christmas. I would really love to see this channel hit 50,000 subscribers before January 1st of 2025. It would open up a lot of doors and a lot of new opportunities next year. 1971 Ford model lineup. These aren't in any particular order. Pinto, Maverick, Mustang, Torino, LTD, Thunderbird. Ford also offered wagons. Ford had a truck line going half-ton all the way up to the big commercial. Ford also offered a truck-based car. It was literally half car, half truck, built on a car chassis, but had a bed like a truck. Ford would offer this car called the Ranchero from 1957, beating the Chevy El Camino to market by 2 years, and is claimed to be the first car-based truck, but that isn't really the case. Car-based trucks appeared first in the 1930s, if not before that, where they would sell kits to modify trunks into pickup truck beds. Then you had Hudson and Studebaker, who would offer car-based trucks. Hudson had the Big Boy and Studebaker had the Coupe Express. Down under in Australia, they offered vehicles called Utes, which is essentially the same concept. Ford would offer the Ranchero from 1957 through 1979 and would play different size fields during its run. Full size from 1957 through 1959, compact based on the Falcon platform from 1960 through 1965, and then would come back as a mid-size from 66 through 79. Offered in 7 generations, 1971 falls in the 5th generation, which was produced for only 2 years, 1970 and 1971. Ford would offer the Ranchero in 1971 in 4 different flavors: the base Ranchero, followed by Ranchero 500, Ranchero GT, and Ranchero Squire. Let's talk specs. It rides a wheelbase of 114 inches. It weighs 3,285 pounds. Price, $3,450, which would be equivalent to you spending $26,875.33 in the year 2024, and that was for the GT model. Total 1971 Ford production was 2,054,351 units, of which total 1971 Ranchero 24,946 units, and of that number, 3,632 units were of the GT variety. Moving on to engine, starting in the proverbial basement with the 250 cubic inch displacement overhead valve, inline 6, 4.1 liters. It was good for 145 horsepower, 4,000 RPM, 232 pound-feet at 1,600 RPM, with a bore of 3.68 inches and a stroke of 3.91 inches. Compression was 9-to-1. It's important to note that the 6-cylinder was not available with the GT trim. Up next, the base engine for the GT trim, 302 cubic inch displacement overhead valve, V8, 4.9 liters. It was good for 210 horsepower, 4,600 RPM, 296 pound-feet at 2,600 RPM, with a bore of 4 inches and a stroke of 3 inches. Compression, 9-to-1. Up next, 351 cubic inch displacement overhead valve V8 5.8 liters. This engine came in two flavors. You could either get the 2 Venturi with 240 horsepower or the 4 Venturi with 285 horsepower, 4,600 RPM, up to 370 pound-feet at 3,400 RPM. But it's interesting to note that the 2 Venturi got 350 pound-feet and it comes on at 2,600 RPM. It's very interesting. Bore of 4 inches and a stroke of 3.5 inches. Compression was 9 with the 2 Venturi and up to 10.7 to 1 with the 4 Venturi. Moving on to the biggest and baddest engine available for the Ranchero, 429 cubic inch displacement overhead valve V8 7 liters. It's good for anywhere between 360 to 370 horsepower at 4,600 RPM, 480 pound-feet or 651 newton meters at 2,800 RPM with a bore of 4.4 inches and a stroke of 3.6 inches. Compression is 10.5 to 1 with 5 main bearings. If you've been looking for a stellar example of a 1971 Ford Ranchero, this car is currently for sale at Classic Auto Mall, Morgantown, Pennsylvania, where they have this car and at least 950 other cars currently for sale when recording this episode. For hours of operation, directions, and to get the full scoop on this very car, be sure to click the link below after the show.
Let's talk styling. Just look at how these protrude, the fenders do. Bumpers are clean, no bumperettes and or overriders. Turn signal indicators, as well as that splitter at the bottom. GT Ford badge, nice and proud there in the center. Split grille. Headlights that recess the grille. Notice that this headlight recesses it more than this one. Take that back. It's more recessed on one side. Lots of lines going on in this hood profile. Single piece windshield with windshield wipers hidden. Let's check out that line. Beautiful mag wheels. Very petite trim around the wheel well. Notice it's like channeled and then it's kind of, that's interesting. This car does have rocker molding. GT badge protruded right there. No external cowl on this one. It does rake up a little bit here to hide the windshield wipers. This car does have drip rails which start here and run just the cabin of the car. Mirrors. Also check out all these different lines going on right here in this door section. Gas filler cap on the driver's side. This car truck is laser straight. Ford and block formation on the tailgate. GT badge right below it with a center crease. Bumpers do not mimic the front bumpers. They're totally different design. With license plate lights mounted inside the bumper. Check out all of the bright work on top. of the bed, as well as bed, with explicit instructions to do not drill holes inside outlined area. Push this door button, it pops out. It's really cool. It's got a nice solid feel to it, this door does. Feels like a vinyl material on the door panel itself, separated by bright bars. Armrest, door handle to get out, window crank for the big window, joystick style, toggle style for the side mirror. Notice there isn't any vent windows, and the window is curved and tinted. Coming down inside the pedal box down here, emergency brake and or parking brake, emergency brake, parking brake release, high beam switch, brake pedal, which it says it's power brakes, and the gas pedal. Just take a gander at this interior. There is place for storage behind the seat. Here's what over the hood looks like. Here's what first person over the hood would look like. Up above, sun visors with cutout for rear view mirror and center with daytime nighttime feature, and the sun visors can be down, and it does not interfere with the rear view mirror. On to the glove box test. Here's my test subject. Here's my hand for reference. Here is glove box in question. Doesn't fit. It's getting stuck on the hot shoe. Will not fit in glove box. This one appears to have an aftermarket console in it with cup holders. You can have the big ass cup right there or a smaller cup there. And it has a nice center spot in center, which the camera fits into. But it doesn't lock. Does fit, but doesn't lock. Coming to the under the hood section, hood release right here. .351 2 Venturi. Tucked inside this engine compartment. 12-volt battery right here in front. Also notice how far this engine sits back inside here. Attached to the radiator wall are two horns. Radiator overflow, windshield washer fluid. This one's got a dual master brake cylinder with power brake booster. It's a pretty interesting looking power brake booster. Power steering. Looks like a two-belt system, one belt running the fan water pump combo and the power steering, whereas the other belt is driving the alternator. Coil, distributor. Got the Chef Boyardee vacuum can right there. And the solenoid.
On the positive side, these are pretty rare, all things considered. Muscle car looks, sweet overall concept of a car-based truck. Storage behind the seat, albeit it's a bit small and tight. Business up front, party in the back. Against it, special trim parts are hard to find, and other hallmarks of rare cars like body parts, specific to the Ranchero. Body parts might be hard to get. All right, now it's time for Would You Rather. Two scenarios today. In the first scenario, would you rather have a 1971 Chevy El Camino or 1971 Ford Ranchero? Or would you rather wait almost a decade, well, pretty much a decade, for the Plymouth Scamp GT, which is front-wheel drive? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to the second scenario, all Ranchero. Which one is your favorite 1957 Ford Ranchero? Or 1971 Ford Ranchero? Or 1966 Ford Ranchero? I'm going to leave this here for a minute. If you need more time, feel free, pause the video. On to Name That Tune. First person to get both the name of the band and the song title correctly in the comment section will have their comment pinned to the top of it. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below, or you can always send me an email at what_it's_like@yahoo.com. Don't get put off by Yahoo. Some people, for whatever reason, they judge when they see a Yahoo account. Don't be that person. Reach out to me if interested. Until next time, toodaloo! Welcome to the after show. You get to see this car, vehicle like you've never saw it before. This part of the video doesn't have any sound or commentary or music, but you could put whatever you wish in the background. Enjoy!